We have team coverage of the free speech showdown starting tonight with Joe Vazquez. Joe?
Well, you can see behind me, the barricades are still up here at UC Berkeley, but the police have finally gone home as of about 10-15 minutes ago. It was an active night, a large demonstration, and we have to tell you that one person appears to have been injured. We'll show you some video here now. This is around 9:30 tonight. A woman lay injured in the street. She appeared to be bleeding. The police officers surrounded her quickly and made room for an ambulance. A witness tells me she was expressing her support for Ben Shapiro, who was speaking here on campus when she was attacked.
She was holding up a sign that was like pro Shapiro, so she was up here like holding it up, and then someone came out from the crowd and yanked the sign from her, and then she chased after him, and then just someone else, like people try to get involved to try to like tell them not to just like break it up, but then she got punched, I think.
A crowd of demonstrators took over this part of the campus here. This is Bancroft right now, and you know, about 1,000 people perhaps right here crowding up these streets just before sunset. They flooded it, and then it just started growing as the night went on. They outnumbered police, but the sheer volume of officers in riot gear, both on and off campus, was quite dramatic. A substantial portion of the campus around Zellerbach Hall was surrounded by police and barricades. Folks who went inside to see Shapiro had to go through a metal detector, and you had to have a ticket. One student told me he is just fed up with all of the drama.
There's a lot of divide and a lot of emotional talk going round and round, a lot of name calling, a lot of hatred, and I don't really think that's what this country needs. I feel like that people need to at least converse in some kind of dialogue for us to bridge the divides that's been happening in the last few years.
There were students in the crowd. It was not clear whether they made up a large portion of it. It did not seem that they were a majority of the crowd. To be fair, most of the night was peaceful. We even saw a group hug between people on the right and left. And at one point, somebody broke out an American flag and the crowd was chanting for it to be burned, but it did not happen. And even as Shapiro supporters left the event tonight and walked through the crowd, the anti-fascist group was on the microphone urging people to show restraint, don't take the bait. We did see a few scuffles here and there where people were talking. It was loud. They were going back and forth, but for the most part, the only injury we saw was that one woman who was on the ground. And I want to point out, the university said today they spent $600,000 on security. We're not sure exactly how that detailed out, but there sure were a lot of police officers here tonight. Reporting live, I'm Joe Vazquez, KPIX 5.
Well, at least 3 people were arrested tonight, including this woman, 20-year-old Hannah Benjamin of Fremont. She's accused of battery on a peace officer and carrying a banned weapon. 44-year-old Sarah Roark of San Francisco was also arrested for carrying a banned weapon, as was 29-year-old Michael Sullivan of Hayward.
Andria Borba was inside Zellerbach Hall for the sold-out speech. Andria, plenty of people did want to hear what Ben Shapiro had to say, didn't they?
Ken, that's right. UC college Republicans invited Shapiro to speak, and unlike other conservative speakers, he actually made it to the microphone.
Gentlemen, Mr. Ben Shapiro!
After making his way through tight security at Cal, Ben Shapiro, whose website started calling him Hurricane Ben this afternoon, took the stage at Zellerbach Hall to a standing ovation.
The reason that I am here is because fascism does not own this university. Because there are students who do want to hear differing views, who don't want to be told that they can only hear one view, who don't believe that the First Amendment should die under the jackboots and Birkenstocks of a bunch of anarchist communist pieces of garbage.
The former Breitbart editor and current editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire tore into UC Berkeley, the left, and even took on the intersection of race and policing.
The basic rule is that if you don't commit crime, you're not going to be arrested for it. The police are not going around arresting black people for the fun of it. They're going around arresting criminals based on criminal reports.
Also in the conservative writer's crosshairs, what he calls the identity politics of the left, including the gender pay gap.
everybody is a sexist. Everybody's a sexist. And we hear in this context very much about the wage gap, right? The idea that women are paid significantly less than men, 72 cents on the dollar. Okay, that's absolute sheer nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. In 147 out of 150 of the biggest cities in America, women make 8% more money than men do in their peer group.
After his speech, Shapiro took questions from the crowd, ranging from climate change to abortion. Now, at the beginning of his remarks tonight, Shapiro mentioned that he had in fact spoken here at the Cal campus before, but that his previous appearance only required 2 security guards. Live at Cal, Andria Borba, KPIX 5.
Tonight may be just a warm-up for the Free Speech Week that Milo Yiannopoulos is planning to bring to Berkeley later this month. The conservative firebrand plans to speak 3 of the 4 days. Other confirmed speakers in this include his former Breitbart boss, Steve Bannon, author and commentator Ann Coulter, and fired Google engineer James Damore. And tonight, more than 130 Cal faculty members are calling for a complete boycott of classes and campus activities that week.